This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Today I want to talk about this concept of wasted time, especially in relation to this theme of the hermit. The hermit indeed. So really, I find it very common that when people often reflect back into their past and they reflect back on their life, it's very easy to come to this conclusion that you wasted time or you wasted money or you wasted some kind of relationship with another person. But the truth of the matter is, it's not useful or appropriate to think in terms of waste, because this isn't even a dimension of waste. When you think about Prakriti, Mother Nature, and the laws of balance, there's no such thing as waste. Nothing is created in waste. Literally everything has a use, right? Even the turds that you produce has a use, right? Everything has a use. One thing that we have to understand is that reality is literally what you make it. It's how you frame it. How you frame reality produces an algorithm. So the input goes through that algorithm and it becomes output. Peace to everybody here in the chat. Framestar Films, peace. The land of enchantment, peace. Zero, peace and greetings. For the culture, peace. L, peace. So we've got to be very mindful of how we set up this algorithm, right? Because how you set up the algorithm is going to determine whether or not you experience victory or failure. And both are choices, both are options. Yes, failure is an option, because who sets the parameters for failure? You do. You either set them or you accept them. And what I'm saying is that if you're constantly plagued by these thoughts of, man, I wasted so many years, man, I wasted so much money, right? Or I wasted so much time. I wasted these relationships with people. If you're under that mindset, I need you to get rid of that, because it's not useful and it's not appropriate. And it literally hinders your progress. It hinders your spiritual development. It hinders your self-development. Because every single time something reminds you of that experience, you're gonna feel these feelings of shame, of regret, of pain, and that's going to stunt your growth, because you're gonna stop there and you're gonna think about, wow, that's something that I never resolved, that I never came to an appropriate conclusion. Like, it'll always stick in your head and block you from your progress. So you've got to reframe that. You've got to reframe that. There is no such thing as wasted time or wasted money. Literally everything is an investment. See, I was thinking, I was scrolling through Reddit earlier today, and I came across this post that had a compilation of all these different theme songs and ending songs from cartoons that I used to watch as a kid. And not randomly, it's all connected. I was thinking about how much time that I spent intoxicated, right? Drunk. And when I start, I don't stop. Right, so we're talking about like every day for months, and shit, it was years. So I was thinking to myself, like, yo, how much money did I waste on alcohol, right? Just enough to get drunk every single day for months, day in and day out. And then I thought to myself immediately, wasn't a waste, because the person that I was at that time needed that experience. I needed that experience in order to become who I am today. I don't look back on it with regret, with shame or pain. There were experiences that I had to have in that state, and I had to pay to be into that state. The same way that you have to pay to go to college, the same way that you have to pay to get any type of information of value, the same way that you invest in any experience in this life. All these experiences cost something. Money's not the only exchange of value. There's time, there's energy, etc. And every exchange produces an equal exchange, an equal output. Like I said, it's an algorithm that you set up. So the real issue here is how you define these things, the labels that you place on these things. And I'm bringing this up because the more refined that you get when it comes to this self-evaluation, because that's what this is. That's what the high magic really is. It's a lot of self-evaluation because you're preparing yourself for the next phase, which comes after death, right? So a lot of this high magic stuff is self-evaluation. Nothing to do with these people out there. Nothing to do with politics. Nothing to do with celebrities. Nothing to do with anything external. Like, of course, you go to work, you pay your bills, you deal with your family, you deal with your coworkers and your friends. You do all that stuff, right? But the work is a lot of self-evaluation. And the end of that evaluation should be the state of balance, right? I did not steal my neighbor's goat. I did not lust after my neighbor's wife. Like, all those 48 laws, whatever system we're talking about, what we're really talking about is you come to an understanding that I was never here. No matter what this body did, I was never here. So I did not sin. I am sinless. I am free from sin, free from karma. I am not here. But see, there's a difference from saying that and actually believing that, right? Because it's the beliefs that produce reality, not affirmations that you say out of your mouth. In fact, those are clinically proven to not work. They're called supraliminal messages. You've heard of subliminal messages, right? And you've heard that subliminal messaging works, right? But see, the opposite of subliminal messages is supraliminal messages. It's above the liminal line. So what that is the conscious chatter that's happening in your head. And when you speak these affirmations, you're just adding more conscious chatter. Oh, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise. Those don't work because in a way it puts your mind into overload. You're adding a bunch of stuff that wasn't there. And what it forces you to do over time is to lock in on the reality that you do have. So when you're talking about how you're healthy, you're wealthy, and you're wise, what you're doing is you're reminding yourself that you're not. So that's not the way to do it. What produces reality, what produces manifestation, are the things that you actually believe, the actual beliefs. So what you want to do is work on reprogramming the beliefs. And a lot of this starts with accepting your past, accepting everything that happened from this point all the way back. I mean, accept it as valuable, as beneficial, as useful and appropriate. Everything, all of it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if none of this was you and you were never here, there shouldn't be any regret. There shouldn't be any pain, any shame, any running and distancing, none of that stuff. It's not easy. The more attached and connected you are, the more difficult it is, for sure. But what I'm saying is, it's time to let this material stuff go. Whatever stage you're at, you might be at the later stages and truly non-attached, or you might be in the beginning stages and realizing, whoa, I'm not my job. I'm not my last name. Maybe you're just now getting into it. Maybe you're deep into it. Whatever it is, this is a reminder to let that useless and inappropriate stuff go. If you feel like you wasted time, if you wasted years, if you wasted money, right? If you feel like you wasted, you got to reprogram that. You got to reframe that and see the benefits, right? Because hell, the years and the thousands of dollars that I spent on alcohol, I had some good times. I had some good times that I would not have been able to get sober. I experienced thoughts and like, it wasn't just me getting, like, I was actually, going off into my own little world, listening to music and doing a bunch of shit. There were useful things about it, is what I'm saying. It wasn't a total loss. But like I mentioned, these experiences that we had in the past were building blocks to what we have today and where we're going. We needed the experiences that we had because those experiences help us to define the parameters that we have today. So let's think also. You see this guy? The Hermit. This is the same as this guy, the Magus. They're the same. The difference is time. The esoteric name of the Magus is the Magus of Power. Like that's the esoteric name of this card, the Magus of Power. The esoteric name of this card is the Magus of the Voice of Power. The Magus of the Voice of Power. So what's the difference? What's the difference? We're looking at, in the beginning, things are raw. Things are very hands-on. Things are fresh. But we know as time passes, the things that you find interest in begin to change and evolve as well. But see, we're talking about the Magus of the Voice of Power. He doesn't have to do it anymore. He can just speak it now. This is the Magus of the Voice of Power. See, it comes to a certain stage where you don't have to be hands-on. You don't have to burn sage and light up a bunch of candles and scratch a bunch of sigils into the wood. There comes a certain point in time where you attain the voice, right? The voice. And when I talk about spiritual authority and I talk about commanding elemental spirits, this is what I'm talking about. That's what evolution is, and that's the next step in the path to become the wielder of the voice. And that's what you should be in your life. And see, like I said, this is not about going out there and commanding people to behave in a certain way and the world and, oh, we got to use our magic to stop the government from doing this, that, and the third. That shit doesn't matter. Prakriti does what Prakriti needs to do. You got to understand the world is perfect. The world is perfect and it's operating as it's supposed to operate. You gotta understand that. Because if you don't understand that, you're gonna get tangled up in your intentions. And you're gonna believe that you have something to do with it. And you gotta go out there and fight crime as Batman and Doctor Strange and shit. Right? And if that's what you wanna do it, but you're gonna find how exhausting that is. Misplaced intention. It all goes back to what's happening inside here with you. Self-evaluation. Speaking of which, right, we got these 4 elements. The 5th element relates to the moon. Yesod, the initiation of Yesod. How do you know that you're initiated into Yesod? How do you know? Well, the outward sign is that you've become acclimated to your own patterns of change. The outward sign is that you've become acclimated to your own shifts and seasons. Remember what was read in the mystical Kabbalah, the chapter about Yesod. We're dealing with the moon. And the main thing we get about the moon is time, changing of time. The most ancient of cultures told time by the moon because that was the only thing that changed. The sun was consistent, up, down, but it was the moon that shifted between seasons. So what happens when you become initiated into Yesod is you start to realize how you shift in accordance with the moon. I started getting really heavy on moon phases a year or 2 ago, dealing with astrology. And the thing is, we are naturally attuned to both the sun and the moon. Everybody is linked up with their own patterns, but you've got to analyze those patterns and see how you work. You've got to see what happens with you during the new moon, the waxing, the full, the waning. And here's a tip. Waxing moon, when it's growing full, that's when you're supposed to be doing your rituals. Waning moon, when it's closing, that's the season for meditation, right? So as it's growing, that's when you're supposed to be doing your rituals because there's the processes in your body, the processes in the rest of the hive mind, everything is on the uprise. This is when you do your rituals, you get an extra boost. The opposite happens during the waning moon. The hive mind of humanity and the rest of the creatures of the planet are going into this inward phase. So you've got to work with it. So that's the outward sign that you become initiated into Yesod. The inward sign is that you become very acclimated with utilizing the astral plane. What do I mean by that? The astral plane, the storehouse of images. When you become very acclimated with this process of reframing the symbols in your mind and what they mean to you and how you use them to deduce reality, how you use them to manipulate reality, right? You start to recognize that it has nothing to do with lighting candles, burning incense. It has everything to do with how you have programmed these symbols and how they operate to you. You see what I'm saying? So when you realize that that's how it works, and it's not about what candle do I use, what demon do I summon. Again, I can say all this, but what matters is you having the experience to understand how this works. All right, so number one, wasted time, right? Wasted efforts, wasted relationships. That doesn't exist. That's not real. That's a story you tell yourself. That's an algorithm that you've accepted, and it gets the appropriate results. The truth is, there is no such thing as wasted time, wasted money, right? A lot of people get stuck on wasted money. Oh, I invested all. The same way that you pay for college, right? You call that a tuition. We're paying tuition all the time until we actually learn, until we actually graduate. You pay tuition until you graduate. That's what we're dealing with here. Because when you believe in this concept of wasted time, you're attacking yourself subconsciously. These are subconscious attacks. You've got pent up emotion, pent up regret, and these things are heavy on the psyche. They don't uplift you. They don't help you to move forward. They don't help you to progress. They keep you locked in the past. They keep you locked in the clip-off. They keep you locked in this realm of things that are not useful and not appropriate to you anymore. You've got to reframe that. You've got to shift that. And once you begin that process and you master that process, then you'll see that you're well on your way past the 30-second path, right? And you're well on your way to becoming very fluent in what's happening with Yesod. Yesod, the fifth element, the Akashic plane, the astral plane, the storehouse of images, the machinery of the universe, right? All these are terms that we've heard, that we've read. The machinery of the universe. Why is it called this? Why is Yesod called the foundation? Why is Yesod called the foundation and not Malkuth? Malkuth is the kingdom. So why is Yesod called the foundation? Because this is the crux point, that your conscious mind works with the rest of the cosmos. That's the contact point. That's the keyboard. The same way that you have your keyboard, whether it's on your phone or on your computer, to connect with the rest of the internet, you don't connect to the internet directly with your hands or even with your thoughts. You got to use an interface. That's what Yesod is. So this whole practice of magic is understanding how to utilize that interface, how to utilize these symbols and what these symbols mean, and what kind of algorithm that you've set up to understand the world. If you believe that you made these mistakes and they're still hurting you today and you can never get past them, that's an algorithm. That's an algorithm that you've set up, and you're gonna get results based on that. It's up to you to reframe your algorithm so they work for you. I'm not talking about being delusional. I'm not talking about pretending that nothing's wrong, but I need you to look at yourself and see the thought processes that are harming you and change them. That's what we're doing. That's what time it is. That's how you shift from becoming the magus of power to the magus of the voice of power. There should come a point in time where you don't have to do all the outward stuff, right? As you get better with this game, there should be less physical stuff that you're doing. I mean, can I get an amen in the chat? If you've experienced that, the better you get at this, the less you have to do. I mean, I could talk about rituals and stuff on my channel, but for me to talk about a ritual, it might not be familiar with what people are used to. You know, a ritual for me, that could happen spontaneously. I'll be sitting here, hell, I might have started a ritual just now and you wouldn't even realize it, because it's about the symbology. It's about how you frame it. Okay? All right. So look, I usually give a shout out to everybody in the chat, but was kind of in the zone. This message came out. I hope that it was received. Peace to everybody who's here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your efforts. Thank you to my moderators who neutralized some nonsense. Um, yeah. Just seeing if we got any questions or whatever. But yeah, pay close attention to how you frame your reality. Like how you think your thoughts. And it's not enough to just, well, it starts with observing yourself. It starts with actually hearing what you're thinking, right? Most people don't do that, right? Most people don't even think about their thoughts. But once you've spent time being aware of what's happening in the processes, the next step is to become that scientist, to become the magus of power, right? And to actually get hands on with this thing and start tinkering and start changing and shifting the thought processes. Because, like I said, it's not about the affirmations, it's not about saying I'm healthy, wealthy, wise. It's about reprogramming the actual beliefs that you got going on in your head. And the first step is to identify those beliefs. You've got beliefs. It's not all buttercream rainbows. Some of you have fucked up beliefs, right? You believe that the world is evil. You believe that there's people out to get you. You believe that everything you do results in failure. You believe that you can't win. You believe that you're not worthy of love. You believe that you're too fat, too old, right? You believe so many fucked up things. Accept that. Reprogram it. You ain't got to accept it. It's happening. It's producing results in your life. You get what I'm saying? It's an algorithm. Identify it. Change it. Change it, because it's just like any math problem. You remember in algebra where they had a plus 4 equals 8, and you got to figure out what a is? Well, there's a way to figure out that it's 4. Anyways, there's a way to figure out what symbols mean what. Do that with yourself. When you see that you keep having recurring patterns in life, you keep attracting some abusive partner, what belief is behind that? What do you believe about love? What do you believe about relationships? When you find that you can't pass a certain barrier of income, what do you believe about money? What do you believe about your ability to attract abundance? All the results that you get in your life, there's beliefs behind them. And if you want something different, you need to install the corresponding belief, but not by speaking it out loud in a mirror. You're gonna have to get it subliminally, up under the radar. And we got magic for that, don't we? If you've been listening to this live stream, I gave you the answer already. Didn't I? Subliminally. Oh my God. I love this guy. Okay, so, yeah, man. Y'all got to calm down on the astral plane, because I keep getting these signals and they're saying, hey, I feel this way. And I'm like, maybe I should do a video about this right now. Or maybe not. Anyways, be good to yourself, because guess what? You don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer. Okay, that's my spiel. That's my spiel. You guys want to see these kittens? Check this out. They're finally starting to open their eyes a little bit. All the places I set up for the cat to have her baby, she refuses. So she just wants to sit on my bathroom rug, and as you can see, it has resulted in cat stuff. I'll clean it. But anyways, I think this is my favorite one here. I might keep this one, because while all of these are sitting in their pile here, this is the only one that every now and then like climbs away towards me. So I think I might keep that one. Anyways, there's like 7 of them. They're all like gray and black. And there's the mom. Manu. All right, so there you have it. There you have it. I can't wait to get them up out of here. They're cute and all, but I don't like it. I don't like it. No, ma'am, Pam. This has completely turned me off from the process of reproduction. Pain and suffering, right? Because look, now these things, these as cute as they are, now that they're here, what happens next? Now they have to suffer and die. I mean, like all of us do, right? Not because anything bad's gonna happen to them, but they've entered the world now. Oy vey. So, Manu. Yes, you're right, Brother Shemel. Manu does mean man in Sanskrit, but it also means personal soul. Personal soul, like the individual souls in each person, like the Jivatman kind of thing. All right, so there you have it. Cats, hermit life, reconstruct, deconstruct, or in the words of Funkadelic, program, deprogram, reprogram. Program, deprogram, reprogram. All right, we good? We good? Everybody good? We got it? I hope so. Because I'm gonna get a little bit of Fortnite in, then I'm gonna study some stuff about the moon. Yeah, tomorrow I'll do a live stream about Yesod. If you have this book in your library, I recommend you take a gander to the chapter about the moon. It's a really good book. Great insight. I'm not even going to say that it adds to the Unfortunate Mystical Kabbalah. I would say that this is like a whole nother half, right? Because you don't want to just take one person's side of the story. If you're really interested in understanding something, you want to cross-reference as much as you can. And I will tell you that The Ladder of Lights is an excellent book about Kabbalah. If you have it, lucky you, go pick it up and read it. If you don't, get it before you won't be able to. 1111, May Out Mystic, thank you. Okay, everybody. So, I'm about to bounce. Trey Vocal Harmony, peace. Shoot, I'm just not recognizing you're alive. Will the replay be available? Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, so, yeah. This is the absolute best year that you have ever lived. Now, how can you program that into your algorithm? How can you put that to your beliefs? Regardless of what you do and what you've done, this is going to be the best year of your life. How do you program that? Add that to the list of the things that you're trying to program, right? Don't focus on the money. Don't focus on the sex. Don't focus on the stuff. Focus on what's beneath all that. Focus on the underlying belief. What kind of life, what kind of beliefs will attract those things anyway? If that's what you want, right? I'm assuming that's what most people want. What was it? Yeah, for those of you who are practicing black magic, you got to think comprehensively, right? This came to me through a dream. I was dreaming that I was teaching about black magic, and I woke up ready to do a live stream, and I realized, like, I literally just woke up. But I remembered this part. If you're doing black magic, you've got to think comprehensively. Don't just think about the little piece that's got you all emotionally excited. Think about the whole thing. Because again, it's an equation. If you're gonna do something to take something away, it's gonna have to balance on the other side. Think about all of that. And honestly, when it comes to baneful magic and curses and hexes, what I've learned is, it's not worth it. Not because of karma, or it's not because you're not supposed to hurt people, but the balancing aspect, what I've seen, it's not worth it. It's more valuable to me, and in my experience, to reprogram the faculty of myself that got offended in the first place. There's no need for me to do any kind of baneful magic to anybody. I could care less. You're cursed enough being alive. I don't have to add to it. So for those of you who are practicing baneful magic, think about it holistically. There's another end to the ritual that you're about to do. Somebody need to hear that. There's another side to the ritual that you're about to do. Think about it. Get out of your emotions for a minute, because that's where you get fucked up. You get all caught up in your emotions. You got offended, right? You feel hurt. It happens. But while you're addressing the perpetrator, also address the faculty of the self that was harmed. It was your ego. No matter how you slice it. I know it's different, and Trav, you don't understand. I know. But address that ego too. Or you're going to get yourself stuck in a perpetual cycle of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And in the words of Willie James Huff, wasn't no fun. All right, I'm leaving for real this time. Matt Mystic says, how could you start reprogramming? Asking for a friend. Well, work with what's happening in the moon. You got 1,001 symbols. You got a storehouse of images. You got a picture worth 1,000 words. You're a genius. You figure it out. With your smart ass. Brother Shamel says, kings are not offended by the opinions of peasants. Right? And hey, everybody's not a king or queen. It's got to be a kingdom to rule, right? So hey, we was kings. Everybody wasn't kings. It was just a small percentage. So perhaps it is in your path to perpetuate cycles of karma so that you can come back here a couple more times until you do get it right. Like I said, I could care less. But what I do care about is those of you who are just like me, trying to figure this shit out because you want to have a better life and the best afterlife. That's what I care about. All right, stop getting so easily offended and triggered. Gotta go. Rosa Flame says the reptilians use the moon to put thoughts in our head. Don't even get me started on the gang stalking shit, man. Because, sheesh. All right, so to all my favorite people in the universe, thank you so much. This is the best year that you have ever had in your entire life. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer. Reprogram. Deprogram. Program. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you. Peace.